GM,
GM, how are you?
I'm good. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
How is
It's
everything going?
wonderful. It's a super chain, super Wednesdays for me. Just
It is.
diving in already, and it's exciting. So,
I have a super strong, super chain, super coffee.
mine
Denim
is
coffee, our friends at Denim.
yes. I Their stuff is good, and it's
Yes.
bad because I drink a lot of liquids, and so uh, I'm like trying to like stretch it a little bit more. But I've got the Fiches, I've got Brian's. I need to re up with some more Mumbot. So, they make good stuff, and it's great, but also my wallet. But yeah,
But also, ow, my bank account or my
yeah,
crypto wallet. No, their
it's good.
coffee is really good though. And if you're wondering what we're talking about, our friends at Denim Coffee have done a
Yeah.
couple of artist collaborations. Oh my god. The Fishes was the first one, right?
I like to think so, but I think Mumbot beat me to it
Oh,
by
she
a little
did?
bit. Yeah,
Huh.
hers came out first, I think. So
I feel like I had the Fishes first, but that's
yeah,
I am a fish fan.
but still, it's cool that they're teaming up with artists to collaborate. All who are on chain. A lot of them come with NFTs. So like I don't know, it's cool. It's remixed coffee and it's made it fun. And especially like whenever a new drop comes out, like the bags usually have I like to say I set the stage for this, but like there's like little hidden things on like all the pieces of the bag. Brian's is just still I feel like every time I pick up one of his bags, it I find something new. So
It's so fun. All right, I'm just making sure while we're bantering a little bit that we're actually live in all the places.
oh yeah, that would be good.
Yes, before we
Hopefully
even
there's
get into
people.
this. So if you're here, please do say hello. Let us know in the comments where you're joining us from. If this is your first time at a good news show, welcome. We're so glad that you're here.
Hmm.
And let's see, are we live on Unlonely? I hope we are.
I also hope that we are.
I think we are. Wait,
Yes.
it does say switch to base, but I think we're on base. Happy to be here. It's Mary, first timer from Canada,
Woo-hoo. That's
near
awesome.
Toronto. Hi, Mary. Welcome. So glad that you're here joining us this morning. Woohoo.
I do like that is probably like one of my favorite things is meeting new folks from like all over that otherwise would not have known. So super cool.
How great is that? It's
Yeah.
like the power of Web3. Here we
Hmm.
are.
Yeah.
All right. Well, coffee is hot. We got some
Cold in
good
my case, but yeah.
we got some good topics to get to. Let me do the first kind of let's just reset and so you know who we are, why
Episode 3. No, yeah,
it is
sorry.
episode 3. Oh my
I
goodness,
know.
how did we
We're
get here?
almost to 4,000.
And we're learning out loud. We're building the plane in the air, as they say. We are just kind of seeing where the needs are in this ecosystem, and just really excited to be here with you, learning about the super chain. So, whether you are joining us for the first time or you are part of the returning Good News family, we are here for not just another episode. It is the start of something new and something exciting. It is the Superchain Spotlight edition of the Good News Show. I'm your host, Rachel Wilkins. This is my wonderful co-host, whichever side you're seeing him, Brock McBlockchain. And we are both thrilled to have you with us as we embark on this journey every Wednesday into the heart of the Superchain ecosystem. If you're thinking, what the heck is the Superchain ecosystem? Brock, why don't you tell us in a sentence or
Sure.
two what it is?
Whenever you say in a sentence or two, it's like a super challenge for me.
All right,
I will try my best, but
in five
so
minutes or
you
less.
may
Go.
be familiar with blockchain. A super chain is something that was built by the folks at Optimism, which not only is exciting and optimistic, it also uses like a technology underpinning it that is optimistic in nature. But the cool thing is, instead of saying like we're going to make a new blockchain that's an Ethereum killer or all this other like kind of hype stuff, they really kind of set the stage of like this is what an L2 or layer 2 solution could look like. And instead of building one, they're actually like the foundational piece of several. And so the super chain is the sum or combination of various chains that all have the OP or optimism stack. And because of that, they're kind of in a lot of ways interchangeable. They're very, very kind of like streamlined and set up to work together. And so you get like a chain that's very focused on one thing and then a chain that's very focused on the other, and then they all kind of just have their niche and then they all play together. And so really it's a super chain because it's super awesome and all the things that we're able to build and enjoy. So I've had a blast kind of jumping into it, and I think it is kind of the future, and it's all underpinned by Ethereum. So it's not trying to replace anything. It's really just trying to make the Web3 stuff that we love and have had friction with better in every way by kind of letting everyone focus on their kind of like area of expertise, so to speak.
It's very exciting. And I am not a techie, folks. I am kind of tech adjacent. So the beauty of this show is that you get to hear me ask stupid questions,
They're
which
not
you may want
stupid.
to ask yourself.
I hope though that like I think early days with blockchain, it was like you got to be in the weeds. Like I got to run a thing from my terminal and like let my computer do magic. I think now more than ever, it is more approachable and palatable. Like all the great security and stuff is there, but we're starting to get. I think designers have showed up. If I'm being real, like we're starting to get UI that actually looks like something you'd want to use, and all the friction points are being like, is this the best flow for like a human to use versus like someone that's like, I'm going to figure this out no matter what. Like the tinkerers
Like
have
you.
done right, yeah, and so like I'll tinker and get into the weeds, and then hopefully try and leave it in a better spot where it's like, oh, this is a little bit. I cut 2 steps out, and then
Yeah.
other amazing people are kind of like cutting more steps out. Not that they're being like just gone, but we're working at it in a different way where it's like, oh, I don't have to learn 12 things before I can do one thing. And so it's the beauty of I think right now we're in like another blockchain renaissance, and you can put that on a trip. But yeah, Web3, third time's a charm, is kind of what I'm sticking with. Yeah.
And if this is your first time tuning into the Good News Show, folks, a big warm welcome. We, as a show, have been around since 2022, and in 23 we partnered with Timepieces, which is part of Time's groundbreaking Web3 initiative. And over the last 2 years, we've rolled out over 350 episodes, opened our doors to over 100 guests, and dived deep into the minds of some of the most brilliant innovators out there. And all of this has been in pursuit of one thing, and that is building a community of forward thinkers like you who share our excitement for what emerging tech has to offer. And with this new weekly show, we are zooming in on something specific, which is, of course, the superchain, as Brock just explained. Not just another blockchain, it's a new frontier with massive potential for creators and builders to become part of a thriving new economy. And that's why we really thought it important to be, meeting with you weekly to bring you the latest information. So whether you're deeply entrenched in superchain business or you're just curious about dipping your toes in, this show is for you. And we are here to unpack the superchain and applications built upon it to bring you the freshest, most impactful information so you can make the best decisions on where to invest your time and energy in this digital age. Brock, I think for now we should still do official intros. So would you
Sure.
mind just telling folks, and I'm going to relocate while we do that. So just fun
Okay.
fact,
Through the magic of the internet. Yeah.
it is. I had cleaners in my
I'm
house.
now in Paris. No, just change your background.
Okay,
That's fine.
change my background, but I'll be right back.
Awesome. I'm Brock, also known as Brock McBlockchain because you can pick any name on the internet. Also known as a bread cat from space. None of this really is helpful, but these are just monikers that I've picked up. I've been a creative technologist for 25 plus years. Hurts to go higher, so I'll just say that. Yeah, I make all kinds of things. I've made AR, VR. I created an NFT project called The Fiches. Really, if I can help people and solve problems, that's what I like to do. Background in education, so like taking complex things and breaking them down to where they're digestible instead of like not talking down, but like firing you, like raising everybody collectively to try and do more. And yeah, been doing a lot lately to empower that. I don't know how much time I have to fill right now until Rachel appears. I will start telling jokes or singing, whatever we go. I cannot even see the chat right now. So hopefully you're all just giving me thumbs up emojis. Like and subscribe. Is that what we do here? I don't know. Yeah, but yesterday, just because Rachel can't stop me, I'll plug a thing, and I don't like talking about stuff that I do, so this is a treat for you guys. I dropped Tag in digital form on Farcaster, and if you'd like to try it out, go to the channel if you're on Farcaster or Warpcast or any of those slash F tag for Farcaster tag, FTAG. You could just click on a frame to join and then install a little action that we'll talk about in a second. Just 2 buttons, and then you can start playing tag with me, and it's super fun. You couldn't stop me, so I plugged tag.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And I have questions about tag, so we're going to get to that.
I'm super excited about it and all the things that I want to do with it. So yeah, you tell me, and we'll talk about it.
Well, why don't you just tell us, like, first of all, because I think all of us that know and love you, like, selected to sign up. But how is it going to work? Like, how's it going to
100 people have now signed up. That's how many people have signed up.
Shows you how many.
It was supposed to be a beta.
Oh my
so
God.
people are like, "This is awesome, share." I'm like, "Stop!" Like, I actually tried to stop someone, and they're like, "Nope, we do it live here. Go." And so yeah, I got a lot of stuff to build still.
So how does it work?
Yeah, so I think before we jump in fully, we should talk about Farcaster. Farcaster, if you're new to the show, we talked about it last episode in a deeper dive. But basically, it's a decentralized social network. And the cool thing is, Farcaster is like the foundation, and then above that is multiple apps, and they all connect. And they all, like, if I am on one app, like Warpcast, which is kind of the primary one, the default currently. But then if also on, say, you're Rachel on Supercast, if you make a cast, which is a post if you're anywhere else, and I make a cast, we can both read even if we're on different apps. And so you can have multiple UIs, and the UI can look very much like a Twitter or Reddit or whatever you're used to using, but it also could look like a video sharing service. And if you post on there, it can show up on the other. So it's this post to anywhere through multiple UIs. One of the fun things that has come out that is better, in my opinion, than a lot of other social media is they came out with this thing called frames. And a frame is like, what if instead of making a social media post, you can make a mini app post? And so when you post it, someone can mint an NFT, or they could play a game, like what I'm doing partially, and all kinds of things. You can order e-commerce, like you can order a shirt through a frame. Like it's really, really cool. And they turned on transactions, so you can, like, without even leaving Farcaster in any shape or form that you choose, the frame, you can make purchases, you can give people money, you can do all kinds of things through frame. And it's just, all it is like one image and up to 4 buttons. But by that simplistic thing, people are creating all kinds of wild stuff. And so that brings us up to this past week where actions appeared. And so think of it as having, sorry, what was that?
What the heck is an action?
Okay, yeah, I'll tell you. So actions is just yet another kind of development. I think that's probably the most exciting thing for me, is because, like, it's not Twitter where, like, it's a business. Everyone can just, like, create, because it doesn't have to, like, it doesn't matter about, like, the bottom line or whatever. And I'm sure, like, money is going around all over the place, but everyone can kind of build in the sandbox because it's decentralized, and then everyone benefits as a side effect, kind of like a mega big town. But yeah, the actions, there's a new icon now on every post, and it's like a grid of squares, and those are that's your action menu. And so I can create an action that then you can install into your Farcaster account, and all it is a one-click button, and it can do one action and send a message, and that's the simple thing. But then behind the scenes, your developers or other folks or other services will be able to tie into that to use it to trigger certain events. So it started off with, like, a thumbs up. We already had a like, but you can count up thumbs was the first thing, because why call it thumbs up when you can call it up thumbs? And then you could do up thumbs on a post or a cast, and then on a frame you could see who had the most up thumbs across the whole platform. And so, very simplistic example, but when I saw that, I was like, and my brain said, we have to have fun with this. And so I took this is going to sound way more complex than it is, but I just combined all of the toys into a game, and it's decentralized tag. And so I have a frame that you can join, because I wanted it to be opt-in so people weren't spammed by it, like where, like, it suckers people into playing. Like, if you want to play, come play. If you don't want to play, then don't play. So you opt into the game. And then the second thing you do is install a cast action, which is actions for short, of tag. And so all that does is let you see any cast on all Farcaster and just tag the person. And if you're it'll actually tag that person. If you're not it'll say, you're not stop. But yeah, so that simple thing combined with a frame, and then there's a leaderboard so you can see who has been the least amount of time. I'm rolling out another frame called the Who's It frame, because everyone's like, I don't know who's it. But if you don't know if you're it or not, when you become it, you get an automated reply that says, you're it. Tag someone fast. And then if you for some reason don't have the action installed, but you started the game, there's a button to install it from that frame. You can read about it if you're still confused on how to play, and then finally jump to, like, the original frame is from there. So, like, you kind of get a tag, you're it, and then literally get tagged by the bot saying, hey, you've just been tagged by so and so, go. And this creates this fun chain of, like, tagging people. My biggest thing when I'm making my favorite thing when making stuff is, like, making people feel, and Brian Morris, shout out, like, he dropped everything real quick to, like, give me all these, like, way better graphics than what I was doing. And so
ask about the graphics, because
it's animated.
Grok is a really good UI UX, but now you just revealed your secrets.
I'm okay, but like, I know what I need, but then execution when it comes to, like, handwriting especially my handwriting's trash. I type all the things.
Mm.
If I had to do handwriting social media, no one would read anything. But Brian Morris, great friend, is like, can you do some help with a word typing writing? So he did like this animated like F tag is what we're calling it because Farcaster tag, and then it like tags itself like through the animation. I don't know if anyone even
Yeah,
caught
it's
that.
very, that's pretty cool.
And then he's like, what else do you need? And I was just I need this for this frame, this for this frame, and he just like blasted it all out. So like the website's getting updated. I'm updating all the frames to be more consistent with like the brand that he kind of made up with. And yeah, so
Awesome.
it's tag. And I
If
think right now
people, if people are
we're
wondering what
at
the hell we're talking about right now,
yeah,
just if you're like just tuning in, because I see there's like 24 people on the live stream,
that's
we're
awesome.
talking about tag. And I think what Brock has created a tag game on top of Farcaster, which is super fun. But what I would love to do, just to kind of for us to understand who is actually tuning in, can you let me know whether you are an artist, a creator, a builder, all of the things? Like, just let us know in the chat so we can kind of tailor a little more of our conversation towards what your needs might be, because that's going to be super helpful for us going forward. So just drop it in the chat wherever you're watching this. And Ryan asked, where can I watch this outside of Twitter? So Ryan, I tried to find where that comment is and I can't find it, but you can watch this on YouTube, the Good News Show YouTube account. You can watch it on Unlonely, which is awesome. There is a link for that, I think, published on my Twitter, so you could go find that. But yeah, we're in all of the places. Matt
The
Hickson,
coolest thing,
I am all
you can mint it.
Yeah, Matt. Oh yeah, you can mint it. Let's talk about that. So
yeah, there's so much, and I hope that it's the excitement, but we hope to kind of break things down. But there is very much things moving very, very fast. And so we hope to take a pause and bring you along for the ride. If it gets to be overwhelming, like we would love your feedback to kind of find what's good for everyone, where it's valuable for you guys, because we want to make the Superchain easy to jump into and have all the fun without the friction. Yeah, we were saying how to watch the minting frames. So another cool thing is you can mint an NFT through a frame. And so once our episode's done and we upload it, it'll become an NFT and then you can mint it. And then you'll have that in your wallet. And that's one
lucky person having this
literal proof
in your wallet
that you were there for the third episode. And then also, you can easily share like the link to your NFT and that helps people see it without having to go to YouTube or what have you. So just another cool way that you can consume the content, and then you can trade this episode or sell it, like whatever you want to do. But it is a way of kind of like minting that you were here and then always being able to go back and watch it straight from your wallet. So it's a pretty cool thing. And you can mint it without even leaving Farcaster by just minting it through there. So.
For free.
It's the gas. But yeah, that's awesome.
So
gas is super cheap on Superchain.
Yes, it is. It is. So let's kind of break down what this last week looked like in this ecosystem. So there was a lot happening, but I think we should talk about the eclipse first, because the eclipse caused a little bit of chaos in the Zora ecosystem. So let's talk about
it blocked up obviously Zora. So Zora is one of the super chains, and just for like a high level overview, we can get more into it later. Think anything with NFTs, Zora is the spot to be. It's designed to be the easiest, most straightforward, scalable, and cheap solution for minting NFTs. You can sign up by just like connecting your wallet, and then you can mint something by just filling out a form and uploading your content. And they've got some really cool kind of extra things that I'm sure we'll get into. But yeah, basically it's Planet NFT is Zora, and it's Zora.co, so CO. And anyone can sign up. It's basically free. There might be some fees baked into it just so they can continue to sustain themselves, but for the most part, like it's the best place to do free mints. One other cool thing is if you if you are creating art or what have you on Zora, if you share the mint page that they give you or that they create for you on Farcaster, it automatically turns into a frame, and people can mint straight through it. So it removes all the friction, really. You can just share the link, and now it's easy for people to not only get the details, but also mint if they want. So it's really cool.
Wait a minute. Hang on. Wait.
I'm waiting. Unimagically. That's awesome.
Unimagically? No, unimagically? How would you spell it?
I said automagically.
Oh,
it can be anything. Yeah, I'm from Florida, and so I talk sometimes with a draw and run words
Okay,
into
here we
sentences.
go.
I will try and not do that.
There we go. Woohoo! Automagic.
Automagically. Yeah, and so Zora was like, we should do an eclipse mint, and I think that's a great idea because everyone was doing kind of eclipse mints, and we saw some pop off in the morning. But the cool thing about theirs was it was only going to be available the 4 minutes that it was like at totality or whatever.
Right.
I'm sure that was the word. And so everyone was like, cool, I'm waiting. And then I was watching the countdown. It's like 12 minutes, 10 minutes, getting really close. It's time. I run into Mint, and like it's like the website went because and like I I do think that there's a meme somewhere hiding in there where it's like when something bad happens, we're like bullish, but it's bullish because I think there was so much demand that it broke Zora, and so Zora for a while could not mint, and it couldn't mint until after the 4 minutes was over, and then afterwards it came back up. I was a bit of a jerk, and the error that they showed while it was broken, I screenshotted that because yeah, and then I minted that and let people mint that instead using Zora. So that was fun. I'm sure they were like, "Oh, that guy's great." But hey, I'm shouting you out now. It's again, all the times that I've ever tried to use it, it's been perfect. But the
Yeah.
fact that they had like a special edition mint, and then and it broke the site, is pretty incredible because it's run smoothly until then. So that was just a really big spike, and I'm sure that it's better for it now because I'm sure they got whatever kinks happened with their scaling is probably fixed for the next one.
Can we
So
talk a little bit about the eligibility for creators with airdrops related to Zora? Because I think there's a little bit of a disconnect in where people should actually be minting their work to be eligible for any kind of future OP drops. So there's this. I think what was shared with me was if you're minting on Zora, you're kind of checking all of the boxes because it's on top of base, it's on the OP stack, so you would be
yeah.
eligible for all of those things. Can you
So
break that
going
down?
back to my pantomime diagram that we should probably make something for, the foundation is Superchain Optimism. Like that is the kind of the technology, the bread and butter, the DNA, if you will, of all of the Superchain. And then we've got Zora, which is one, and then we've got Base, which is another. Base is almost like the tech one, right? So it's got smart contracts. They are like killing it on optimizing gas. I think like they rolled out maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. Time flies super fast. So in the past, they rolled an update that like took it down to like even less than it's fractions of a penny kind of stuff to do things. So Base is where all the smart contracts and all that stuff happens. You literally, if you were like, I'm going to deploy my own contract, wouldn't do that on Zora. Zora is like hyper focused on NFTs, and they've got their own contracts and their own system that you can play with. But the fun thing is because they're all interchangeable, Zora uses Base for their smart contracts.
Right.
So it's this intermingling thing that's happening, and so you're bringing up like there are Optimism kind of like grants and airdrops that they do just to kind of like continue to pump and reward the people that are using it so that they can do even more within the super chain. You can just sell it if that's what you want to do, but like it's kind of giving you free gas in your tank to do more within the super chain is the way that I look at it. And by doing that, when you're minting on Zora, you're using Zora, but you're also using Base, which is also using that. So it's you're kind of like you said, checking all the boxes to kind of maximize. So yeah, free internet money. But yeah, it's not only can you mint and get something out of if you're an artist or a content creator, and you can mint like text even. Like it allows you to mint text as an NFT. So yeah, they've got a lot of tools. It makes it super easy, and it seems like they just keep rolling out cool stuff. So it's exciting.
And I think it's kind of a weird time because everything that's happening with ETH, right? Like ETH is kind of like the badly behaved child standing in the corner right now because the gas prices have just been so high that see, I'm even losing my voice because the gas prices are so high that it's
gas triggers.
It is. It's triggering all of the things, but it's really difficult, especially for creators right now, to be able to mint on mainnet. So, but they're also presented with this other possibility, which is of course ordinals, which was a big part of the conversation at NFT NYC last week. There was a lot of orange out in the world last week, people really hyping up ordinals. But as a creator, you have this ecosystem with the Superchain that is not only giving you easy access to be able to mint without high gas fees, but also potentially rewarding you for even just participating in that ecosystem. One of the things I wanted to talk about today was I'd seen a little bit of FUD, and we are FUD busters here, so I want to make sure we do bust the FUD, which sounds weird. But people talking about, is this really decentralized because it's backed by Coinbase, which is a centralized company? Like, is this really what we all came here to do? What is your kind of take on that? I know it's a little bit of a spicy thing.
So to help me jump in more, I guess the FUD is that because Coinbase has made Base that it's not decentralized because
Well,
they're
that,
on the stock exchange.
yes, that not so much that the chain is not decentralized, but is this really the kind of tech decentralized utopia? We're all out here doing this, building, apart from this major exchange.
Mm.
Like, is this really what everybody came here for? So let's bust the
Sure.
FUD.
So I mean, this is off the cuff. Like this
Yeah,
is the first I've heard of like I've not seen any FUD. Mostly because it's refreshing to be on Farcaster, where like there is still like things where you can. It's not happy go lucky, everything's great. But I haven't heard a lot. I think that the base team, like Jesse and the folks that he's rolling with, have done a lot of innovation and really kind of are doing everything they can to make things ready for the next like millions and millions of users. And so like I would like to see the alternative. Like what is the decentralized, solely decentralized folks? What are they doing?
yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say like they're not doing anything, because like there's tons of proposals and stuff for Ethereum that are coming out. But I think this is a good way of making it usable, and it's all underpinned by Ethereum. So just because like a company is leading the charge, there's been companies and corporations that back open source software from like for ages now, right? So for me, I don't see a super concern. There's also options, like you don't have to use the things that they're cranking out. But I do think that by them pushing, it allows to make space for others to kind of run along. One thing that I think we're seeing, even in just Farcaster land, is we're seeing more and more clients spin out. And so right now, I think it started with Farcaster, and there's Warpcast. So it was almost this like one-to-one. So like, where's the decentralization? And now we're seeing more clients come out. And so you don't have to use Warpcast. You can use other things that are, this is this flavor or this is this flavor. And I think that Optimism is going to allow more blockchains. Like right now, it is where they want to make sure quality is there, and someone's not just like getting everyone over to an island that then they set on fire and scam everyone. Like, so I think there's some.
I love your analogies.
I try.
So good.
But with all of that, like if you look at their grant systems right now that they're putting out there, they're putting millions and millions of dollars in
Millions of dollars
that are coming out with, how do we fix governance? How do we make better tooling? How do we make like developers' lives easier so that they can empower the next actual like users, like normal folks that are there. So yeah, I mean, if I had a laundry list or whatever, I would happy to hit all the things, but I think like
I kind of sprung this on you because it just came to mind because I was thinking about, I'd seen a post where Benji was like basically not amplifying the guy who was giving the FUD, but basically kind of challenging on some of the points that he was making. We've seen it with the Good News Show. It's so much easier to be out there fudding and so much easier to be, out there complaining. And it's like, are you actually in the arena building something? Are you here actually participating and contributing to an ecosystem, or are you just out there to try and pull down those that are? And we see that all the time.
I've been busy building like a lot of stuff, and so maybe I haven't caught the FUDness as much because
I don't have time for FUD.
Well, no, I think it's just I'm very, very like I think Twitterland is like I need my number to be big, number go up. I'm only a good person if I have so many like followers. On Farcaster, I think I focused less on numbers and being more like authentic, but also like even who I choose to follow. Then it's that reset to like be more thoughtful in who I follow. Not saying like, and so anywhere that FUDs, I just don't follow them. Like not saying that at all. Like I would almost want somebody to like challenge my views to make everybody better, but the way that they go about it and all of that. Like one little anecdote, I guess, is like I got a friend who was not into crypto at all on Safari. I was like, I think this would be refreshing for you. And they ended up at first they were like, it's really tough. Like I feel like I'm not getting much engagement, and they just kind of stuck it out and found channels that they were all about and like so fitness and some other things. And they're a musician, and they ended up posting on Dracula, and they started getting some people to buy their token, which still is a weird concept to me. But like they started getting a real interaction, real engagement, and it got within like a month. They're like, I got more interaction like in this last month than I've ever gotten with like 60,000 followers on Twitter. And it's more real people that actually we're talking about real things. And then he posted one of his songs and he got like a handful of sales. Like it was like not huge, but he's like, I kid you not, like I don't care about the number, but like the money that I made off of like selling this one song as an NFT that was really just meant to it was priced pretty low. The money that I made off this was worth more like value wise than the last 3 months of being on like Spotify, like what I got paid out for Spotify. So like as
That's
much as it's easy to
wild.
say like Coinbase is rolling base and they're really pushing and they're trying to like whatever the narrative is, real people that aren't even tech involved at all are finding it easy enough to jump in, stick with it, and enjoy it more than what the alternatives were, and they're winning because of it. Like,
Yep.
if that's happening, and somehow a corporation is playing a role, like it's still a win. I don't understand why why it was like this needs to stop. We need to go back to where they're not making anything, or this needs to stop. We need to go back to crypto Twitter, wherever it's just a rage fest. And you can't even talk without having a bot reply to you and say, hey, hit me in my DMs. I would love to get your seed phrase. Like, it's just wacky. And so
since we're on the topic of FUD bust, and
sure.
I think we should make this a segment, because I think we should take all the FUD that we hear and we should like break it down.
Can we make Brock rage? That's what the segment. No, I'm just kidding.
Let's Brock rage and FUD busting. Let us know if you like the FUD busting, folks. Let us know in the comments. And really quick shout out to Aaron, Crypto Co. I think is also joining us on Lonely chat. Lonely is popping, so shout out to you. But the other FUD that I heard this week was somebody trying to FUD Farcaster by saying that, well, guys, we know you're all onboarding because of the free internet money. Let me just put that little pin back up there. But that is going to run out. Like, Degen is not going to continue to do airdrops forever. Like, it's impossible for that to happen. So let's talk about that. Let's bust that.
Well, I think it's more. There was a really great interview, and that's, I don't want to poach, but our good friend Prof had like, it was all about Degen the other day, or maybe the day before. Sorry, time is crunching together. And so the founder of the Degen coin was saying, like, just so you know, like, Degen the channel existed before Degen the currency or the token. And then I think they've been really, really thoughtful in how they're rolling things out, where it's not just like, I made a coin, here's the money. Like, there's a reason why this one has taken hold more, and I think it's because it's built around, like, instead of just doing an airdrop, the whole concept of like, we're airdropping based on like the content you create, and it's community decided, and if anyone's found gaming it, we kick them out. And so, like, it's this holistic approach of like, you are making content that I react to, that in a way that I hear have a slice of like my daily allowance of tipping. And so I think that's a unique thing, and it's creating this appreciation for content for a whole. I mean, everybody can use it however they want, but beyond that, like, they were one of the first major L3s like on the Superchain, and so from that's a whole new layer of play. And they're doing this is like one of the topics I think we're going to talk about. They're doing deploy on Degen, where they've set up like a huge bounty, if you will, to have developers come in, and I think over 100 people have already applied, and it still goes till Friday. Wow. And so I think from that, you're going to see a lot of tooling, a lot of like new services. The first thing was like a meme coin, like casino, basically. But from that, now like real utility and real services of value, I think, will come. And so, yeah, the money's going to run out for sure. But I saw yesterday someone say, like, look, if I'm being honest, like, truth moment, I came here because I heard free internet money. But then actually, like, using the product, like, take the tips away, I'll still be here, because I've made real relationships, and like, I enjoy talking to these people daily. And so I do think there's a large chunk probably that are here for the money, and so they may leave, but I also think like you're building a pattern and a habit of using this thing. And so if you're just waking up every day and like doing something just to try and like, you're dancing for tips, sure, you're probably going to go dance for tips somewhere else. Great.
Aaron, can you like
someone
video clip that little dance that Brock just did, because it was awesome.
Dancing for Degen.
Dancing for Degen. Hashtag dancing for Degen.
But I also think like something real is happening. Like, and again, I'm not even gonna, like, I'm playing tag. I finally like bit the bullet and pushed into making a hyper sub yesterday. All these things are happening from at least my kind of viewpoint, and I hope to kind of keep expanding and shifting like the space of the world. One thing I do think that like some real for me, I think channels are so disjointed that it is almost becoming Reddit, where it's tough to navigate. Like,
Yep.
there could be great channels just outside these invisible walls that are here because of what I've been exposed to. And so I think discovery needs to be like a new thing that needs to shift in of like, how do I discover? And I joked and said like when web rings, because back in the day there was a thing like pick a random site, like, and you landed here, check out these 5, and like it was a way of like kind of starting to like chain things together before we had something like Google. And so sure, you can just search for it, but if you don't know it exists, how do you know to search for it? And
How
so
would
I think
this discovery look like? Like, would it be something like kind of like an Amazon product recommendation where it's like, oh, you like this room, you may also like these 3 rooms, or
sure,
like,
but also I think that throwing out like what is some trending channels, like what this one's hot today, the conversation's happening over there,
mhm.
and you're like, wait, people are talking about ghosts. I love ghosts, and then you jump in, like things like that.
It'd be cool
And
to be able to also see which channels your friends are participating in.
true. And I think that you could do, instead of just like a text, it would be really cool to see like of your friends, like some kind of graphic. Like it's like, hey, a lot of your friends are here and you're not.
Yep.
Like you should probably jump in. I think that's part of it. But then also just like a random, like let me pull the slot machine and see like what channels are out there.
Right.
I think that would be cool too.
Totally.
This is a frame in the making of just a random channel. But yeah.
So what? Speaking of, it's build on DGen week. Is that correct?
Deploy on
Deploy on
DGen week next week. I think
Okay.
there's 10 million DGen up for grabs.
Wow.
And so yeah, I think that's like ringing the dinner bell. But I think some of the teams that are coming together are pretty thoughtful. I got talked, like someone yesterday told me about like a music one that they want to build. And I think there's also going to be a lot more, again, like mingling of like devs and idea folks and designers, like kind of forging these teams in like a hackathon, and then maybe it sticks and like it's all around their passions, or maybe it's just people building for the sake of like, I can build this fast and get some degen out of it, but that may spark the next idea, right? So it's going to be a net positive no matter what, I think. And it'll be exciting because it gives more utility to degen, more services for everybody that's on the super chain. And so like people are complaining, this is going back to like the FUD busting, people are, if I understand right, people are upset because the degen tips will run out.
Yeah.
Okay. But the wake of creativity and creation and things that it caused as a result, are probably going to stick around. And yeah, so
as
I think it's a little short-sighted.
Yeah, as much as I like the free internet money, and don't get me wrong, I do, and I got a very healthy airdrop. I love that. It was a nice surprise. But what I do enjoy, and I'm not saying this like I'm some Pollyanna, but I really love the act of giving and this altruistic angle. So I hope there's some way that we can continue to do that, or perhaps somebody can, build something else on top of. Maybe it's an L4, Brock, that's built.
We're going to just jump right to L8.
Yeah, we'll go to L8.
And then anybody that doesn't use it is late.
Right, but it's just, there's something really rewarding about going. For me, I've really kind of focused on tipping creators, but having the ability to do that every single day is just, it feels great, because for so long artists have like really had to kind of like beg for scraps, and there's so many talented people out there. So I just hope there's a way that we can continue that.
Yeah, but I think also if everyone, like the interesting thing of this experiment is that everyone that I knew that had gotten in it before is like, so is everyone selling before? Like there's this like trust fall exercise of, well, the airdrop's going out, so everyone's just going to get a big bunch of money and they're going to sell it. So I need to sell now so that I can cash the value out for them. And I was like, I don't think so. Last time that didn't happen. And they're like, what? That doesn't make any sense. I go, I know it doesn't make any sense. It does not make any sense other than like people just want it to generate like, and I had to kind of explain of like degen, I think in the name makes it seem like, I think the name is the only bad thing going for it, because it has a negative, like a default negative connotation. But I think, I hope that the value that they produce will outweigh that and tip the scale, so to speak. But I just say like, if Farcaster is like the de facto, like, or is the platform, and then Warpcast is like the de facto, and they're allowing tipping to happen like by default, and this is the de facto one, wouldn't there be value there? Like it's a thing everyone's using, and then they're building out use cases for it. And so like you're kind of getting, today you're getting a bunch of like a sum, but if this is going to grow, if you believe in the platform, then it's gonna inevitably be worth more long term, or you might want to hold some at least for, I'm not saying don't sell or like whatever, but I see more value because of all the things that they keep doing. And it would be different if it was just a joke meme coin with no value. but this seems to be that they're in it for the long haul. Like they're being really, really thoughtful about things. They're trying to take steps that improve for the whole. And I think because of that, you're seeing a different reaction where when the first airdrop that I was a part of came out, there wasn't a huge sell-off. And then the next one, I think that by this last one, there was a little bit more than in past, but it's still kept up and it raised up higher. Again, price, I don't care, but I'm just saying like it's going against what established norms. And I think it's because the space is maturing, the space especially that's happening within the super chain. And just I think people believe that where it's going, there's more. And so like it's almost silly to like why this is the time to get more rather than not, if you believe in it.
Yes, somebody in the chat is, I don't know who you are because it's just giving me your wallet address, but hi. It says, what about Enjoy? How is that different? Is that also going to run out? We haven't really took a look at Enjoy. I do know that
There's a couple other ones.
Prop Tip does 7777 Enjoy on one of our videos. So
that's awesome.
That could be $1, could be $100,000. Who knows? But let's talk about that.
I'm sure you'll let me know. No, I'm just kidding.
I know about Enjoy.
Oh, it was just a couple bucks. Don't worry about it. Meanwhile, new house. So Enjoy is one that I haven't delved into as much. I've been to the like website and read up on it. I do believe it's more around NFT based stuff, and so it's not as much as like the tipping and replying. It's almost like purchasing and stuff. My friend Viper was kind of like onboarding me sort of, but I think that I need to delve a little bit more, so I don't want to speak out of turn on it, but it does seem more about supporting creators and like imagination and things like that. Higher is another one that is, it started off I think as just like a meme where you just keep saying higher, but now I think they're growing into a lot of stuff. And one of the news things I would love to talk about is someone said if this post gets 500 likes, I will go to Africa and I will take a picture of this goat. And people said, I hope your bags are packed, because they like the crap out of it, share the crap out of it. People were like tipping their entire degen, like some big thing. I swear, like I was trying to like count it up. It seemed like they got at least $10,000 for like this to fund the plane ticket. And they're like, well, it's a long flight. What am I going to do? They're like, buy a book, 15,000 degen. Like people were just like flowing in and getting behind it.
This is brand new information to me. I did not know.
This is why I was like, tagged me on it saying,
I know, but I saw the goats and I was like, I don't have time to know what this is about. But goats.
This is a historical.
We have an affinity for goats. Can we share a little backstory there? Why goats are like?
I think it gets on a tangent, but one day, like a little bit, we'll explain good landia and stuff. But yeah, and so the person did it. They're there, and they ended up like supporting like some local folks there, going on a hike and documenting it all. And so like it was a nice thing to see. Like again, the degen enabled this for a lot of folks to have someone go there and get a goat. And I think they ended up buying somebody a goat like beforehand. Like it's been this whole kind of saga of the goat. And then from that, meme coins on the L3 of like goat coin, like that went up like I believe it was like 365,000% in like a day, which like, I don't think any other chains, things like that are popping off. And it's just because of a goat. But like some meme coins go and have no rhyme or reason. It's just memes. But this like a real goat got purchased by like from all of this, and then someone went to go and see it basically. And yeah, it's insane to see like what's happening. And there's also like
galvanize some of this to like direct funds at like really important causes, because I mean, I think back to like what happened with Ukraine DAO, like in 2022, like how quickly we were able to get funds into the hands of people that really needed it through the.
It's amazing what you can do when you really want to do something. But yeah, that was crazy too. And so like, I think this, if anything, is and again, optimism by default, kind of like it's in the DNA where like you could say like, oh, the degen's going to run out. Who cares? We got a goat. Like, who cares? We got, everything like the deploying degen week. I think we're going to see a ton of things come out of it. It's empowering. They're putting bounties on things that matter. I think I think they've tossed a lot to Pearl, which is a cool like social game, which I hope Tag can interact with some ideas like that. And then there's just tons of stuff. It's all happening. It's all fun. It is moving very fast, so it can be a lot to keep up with. But I think we've got the memes to kind of steer us on what's popping up and how it's happening. So,
so what else? What else happened this week? We've done goats, we've done free internet money, Eclipse breaking Zora, and we've busted the FUD with hashtag FUDbusters.
We jumped into actions too. I think that was a big unlock that's going to empower a lot of things. Like the default reaction was like tipping and stuff. Like I rolled like a quick tipping and hire kind of like frame and service and action. And so tipping has come out of that. But now I think I deployed tag. I saw someone else doing hot potato, which is similar, but like I'm excited to play that because maybe it's a different spin. And so you're getting all of these toys, right, of frames and actions and Farcaster by itself and degen. All of these are mixing into this thing that like a lot of cool products are going to come out of that we just enjoy every single day. And it's just a part of the culture. Like every day, like, oh, I got tagged today and like, I'm gonna go do this, or I got, another thing is the hypersub. I think it's like going to start empowering, like the hypersub just kicked off a partnership with Coinbase, I believe, for trying to offer like more one-on-one kind of mentorship. And I think it's going to level up hypersub and what they're able to produce with like working more hand in hand, shoulder to shoulder with some folks. But it's also going to take some creators that maybe like we're like barely scraping by with some subs and probably get them a lot more eyes. And so if they're doing great work, they're going to get rewarded. And so like we talk about creator economy. This is like where it's removing all the what about me and the what about we. It's switching out for like what about we, and how can we get the best video content? Dracula's like working towards that, I think. How can we get the best like content on the internet? Like degen is kind of rewarding the folks that are creating great authentic content, finding friendships and finding the groups and the niches of finding your people, right? And I think that all of this was hiding or you had to cut through like arguments like crazy to find anywhere else, and here it's just naturally happening. And maybe it's a euphoria state because everyone's throwing around like cartoon money with degen, that's turning real, but for whatever reason it's happening. And I think that I am bullish that it will sustain, because I think that it's coming from a good place instead of a like a rug pump and dump kind of nonsense. Like it's just the magic's happening, and I'm excited to be a part of it, and I think it's only going to continue.
So I just put our hypersub link on and I'm realizing that
join ours. Yeah,
that is the ugliest link. So I'm gonna make
a lot of people are like doing the tiny URL stuff for it, which can be a safety thing. So be careful like what you click. But
okay,
but
that's good to know.
It's just like this is a tiny URL. It could be like, you can't like hover it and see that it's like not the real URL. So like you just when you click it, nothing's gonna go like boo. But like check the URL before you connect your wallet. Those kinds of things. Really but if it's my account, for example, and it's my bio, like if something bad happens, I posted that, so like you can come for me instead of like random link that someone just posts on a cast or whatever. So just
hashtag come for Brock. No, but let's talk. Let's talk about hypersub. So we did start a hypersub last week. Shout out to Aaron and also Symbiotech for jumping in. You guys are amazing. And I want to talk a little bit about what that hypersub is going to be. Obviously, partnering with you on this weekly show, Brock, is awesome. And we're going to have, you're going to be involved in this process and be a part of the distribution. Everything is, obviously on chain. So very excited to be building with you. Also, Rad Laser Falcon, who is now officially partnering with me on the Monday shows. Woo! So we're gonna build this kind of as we go. But I do want to talk about some of I hate the word utility, but some of the things that we are going to include in our hypersub. So we're going to get allow list access to at least one hot project a month through our network. We're going to do a monthly AMA Zoom with our team. Also opening up access to my other side project, Autoversity. So we're going to include access to a monthly workshop for our members through Autoversity, plus a private token-gated group chat and access to partner discounts as well. I did ask community where they would want to have their group chat, and so far the consensus has been a Farcaster channel, a private Farcaster channel.
To me, that's exciting to hear, because I as soon as joining Farcaster and seeing like token-gated DMs and all these other things, it makes it 1,000 times. That's a number out of my butt, but like it makes it way safer than like the de facto, which was Discord. Not shitting on Discord, because I think it does have a lot of features all packed in, but it's also just such an attack vector for people that are not super savvy, where like someone can quickly clone my account and then DM them and make it seem like I'm asking them to click this link to test something. of course that can still happen on
Mhm.
Farcaster, but being able to trace it to like someone's wallet and that they had to pay like a fee to kind of jump on for like the storage side of it, like it puts so many of these 1 foot fences. And then also if you're already in a group that's token gated, they had to get the token. Like, so it puts you in just behind so many 1 foot fences
Mm.
that the likelihood of you just to kind of like quickly get scammed I think, is significantly reduced.
Yeah.
And I think like day by day features that Discord has over like Farcaster as a whole, and it's also decentralized. They're just kind of falling one by one. So super excited to hear that was not only what you're going with for this kind of thing, but also that was what the preference was from the
Yeah.
group. So it's really cool.
And granted, we only have 2 members so far, so
All 100% is what we're
oh,
gonna
that's
say. Just
okay.
say not focus on the only two, but because I'm sure that will grow. But like 100% unanimous
Yeah,
forecaster.
100% unanimous. But yeah, we would love to have you participate in that. The link is in the chat, and obviously you can come in for 1 month, you can come in for a year, and we would love to have you join us on that. So we got about 10 minutes left. Let's talk about. You want to talk about your hypersub?
Sure. I mean, I don't want this to be shilling, but like I said, like I kind of I've been thinking about this for like over a year plus of like
Mm.
I just like to build stuff, and if I could just like, and I also like to help people, and so I started a hyper sub where people who subscribe will become part of a community, and then we at the beginning of every month we'll throw out ideas of like I really like I sell candles, and I wish I could have a way to sell on Farcaster. People have already made frames for that, but like maybe we make a different one that like does it in a different way or whatever. And instead of building it as a one-off, I build it as either a service or a tool that everyone can use within the group. And then it's open source. So if someone wants to take what we did collectively and kind of remix it, then go for it. Or you can, if it makes sense, not everything's going to become like a service, but I'll bolt it on to another service that I've got with frames.xyz, which is a no-code solution thing that I've built, and it's just kind of been the hub for all the stuff that I've rapidly been building. But yeah, it's basically like bring your ideas and bring your friction, and let's build. It's called Mega Big Town. Let's build like a digital Mega Big Town together, where like it's better for everybody, and so everything is kind of built around for the whole and for the collective. And like let me use my creativity and problem solving and taking like an idea to reality. I'll do it very publicly. It's like we can all work together, and I'll say like, I'm doing this. Like, what do we think about this? And we'll kind of do sessions, Q&As, things like that. And it's really, you don't have to be super techy. It's not for just devs. I'm happy to keep it like where it's like I'll take the workload of like the tech side, but like if it's like, do you think it should work like this or like this, like the user flow kinds of things. Yeah. So just how can we work together? And through one thing I'm meeting with Johnny, I think this week, is to really drive home on the thing we talked about last episode when he was here of, I'm starting off with like a revenue share. So like as I make money, 40% right now just goes right back to the folks. So it's kind of like getting a discount for like the early supporters and whatnot. But eventually like they'll be like, I need this budget to do what we do monthly. And if we can get subscribers up enough to get to that threshold, then hooray. But if we get beyond that, it's excess. And so I want to ratchet up the revenue split. And so like it starts coming back to you. And so as we grow, if we have just a lot of folks, I hope that like even though there's like you pay in a certain amount, the amount going back above like the budget that I set, or like the budget for me, and then like hiring, should we need like a contractor of like an artist friend or whatever to help us like make it really cool or slick or whatever the case needs, the rest will then just go right back to the holders and supporters of Make It Big a Town. Because
I love.
it's
I
I just
love
need this. I just need this, and then we can sustain it. And the rest is now let's put it to better use than just to make me have more or whatever.
On that topic as well, like obviously we're doing the same thing with Good News Hypersell. Like we're gonna, I think it's set at 10%, but there may be times where we increase it.
I'm wild and crazy, so like this is not a how high. Like the 40% is just like almost half you can have right back. And let's just make it bigger with more folks involved than just whatever.
Totally. But I was also thinking yesterday, what was really cool was Rad and I are working on this other project. And I was like, we really need like some marketing materials for this project, and, to hire a photographer to go out there and do this and fly out. It's like a really big budget. Like, what if we just told people what we need, give them photographs of the place, and say we need AI, somebody who's really savvy with AI or Midjourney or whatever, and can make product photographs for us. So I created a bounty on Farcaster using, I forget the name of the channel, but it's like bounty something. I can share it in the chat. But for 2000 degen to see if somebody wants to take that job. And like, how freaking cool is it that we can do that? Like,
yeah. I think it is, again, that creator economy, and like being able to, like, I have skills, but I don't have all of the skills, and other people might be even more skilled at certain things than I can, like jack of all trades at. And so being able to say, you know what, like, I'm trying to make this thing. Even folks that I've reached out to, like, hey, I saw you did this, and this is very like similar of what I'm going for. Are you open to doing this? And like, I will say, like, you name the price, and I will just go and fetch it some way if it's within my means. I mean, of course, like $1 million, sure, I'll do a little graphic for $1 million, but like, you give me a fair price that you think your value is worth, and like, let me go fetch it, and there's no haggling, no whatever. And then but then sometimes they'll say, like, but I like what you're doing, and so like, even though I would say this, like, just give me this, and then like, give me credit or whatever. I'm not trying to say like artists should get into like minimizing their work or their value, like, none of that. But there is this like almost bartering, like, we're all in kind of a tribe together to make better for everything. And I think when you've got that kind of message, and that's like just earnestly what you're after, people find ways to work it out to where it's valuable for everybody. It's just been really cool to see like people get empowered through working together, instead of like, oh, I don't know how to do anything. And that's another part of like what the Mega Big Town is like. I hope to kind of share the process enough to where people can find like, hey, like, this idea is great. I don't know how to do this part, so I'm going to be learning it on the fly, or I'm going to need to source it somehow, and working through that to where people can see like, what does it take from taking an idea to reality, and hopefully like, you get all the stuff from here, but also like there's value in the process of how I do things, and that you might take part of my process and shoehorn it into yours, or you might take it and elevate yours or whatever. So it's all win together kind of mentality. And that's why I'm super fired up.
Together. All right. We got 4 minutes. We're going to wrap this up. Final thoughts on this week in the Superchain ecosystem.
It was just 1 week, and I think that there's a ton here. I'm really, really excited about actions. I think that is a toy that is going to turn into a lot of cool stuff, and we're just scraping the surface of that. And there's already been a bunch of efforts to like change it. Like, at first you could only do one install. It's like, I've got one action, and now it's like most platforms now within Farcaster you can have like 5. I think it was Nook actually did something where it's like a spin wheel of actions, and that's kind of cool too. And so I think there's magic there that's going to change the experience for the better for everybody. I also think the degen deploy stuff is huge, because I think it's going to just create so much more and really push for what an L3 can be. And if it breaks something, then we all win, because we'll fix it and it'll be even better for everybody. And then goats. But yeah, I think those are my 2 biggest things that I'm most excited for, besides like the stuff that I'm doing. But I'm just too excited for that.
I love it.
Goats for good. Yeah.
I am excited about Falcon. I just shout out.
We didn't even talk about that, but that's coming up in early May, right? And you snagged the ticket.
I did, thanks to Ted. So shout out to Ted, and shout out to the Farcaster, the Hypersub crew for making that connect for me.
That's huge.
I'm excited, and I'm hoping that we can do something with the show while we're there. So maybe a little side event. So if you're watching this and you're going to Falcon, and you have ideas of what you would like to see us do with the Good News Show or with this particular show, we need to find a way to convince Brock that he needs to come to Falcon, but I don't think that's going to happen. But we're going to try.
Not this year. Next year. I'm holding out.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Wait until it's like a huge event. And
correct. And say like, look, I was waiting for all of you. That's what I'll say.
Exactly. But definitely let us know if you have any thoughts. Shout out to Mary for coming through. She says, thank you so much, Rachel and Brock. Let's see who else. Shout out to Brian. Shout out to Aaron. Notgrace.eth. I think that's Grace with Unlonely. So shout out to you for this awesome service. We're still finding our feet, but we are very much enjoying it.
It's not due to Unlonely. It's due to
us.
It's due to the tech guy putting all the tech stuff on you.
It's the non-techie participant in this that's having the issues. But and then just final thought, with our Hypersub, not to be shilly, but I want to let everybody know what's happening this month. So Brock is actually going to do a deeper dive into some Superchain education through Artiversity, which as a member of our Hypersub, you will have access to. So it's going to be a 3-month sprint. We're going to do a 1-hour class over the next 3 months. So if you want to just tell us what we're going to be covering maybe in that first class, Brock.
I think that like it's the default or the like the knee jerk is let's do a 101 thing. I
Mhm.
don't think there's always value in that. So like we'll probably hit that a little bit, but I want to jump into like how do I empower creators that maybe don't have the tech like side?
Mhm.
How can you with no tech knowledge take your business and adapt it and or the things that you produce and adapt it to the super chain, whether it's art or you're a photographer or it is you are writing a book or whatever the case may be, music, like you name it. Like how can we take what you're doing already and migrate it to the super chain
Yep.
so that you can see the value right away? And we'll sprinkle in some one-on-one stuff too, but then like you said, it's a three times series, so then we'll kind of level that up even more throughout the other ones after it, to where you're just thriving, being a citizen of optimism.
A citizen of optimism. What a great way to end
I
the
just say words
show.
and they just happen. So
All right. Well, this has been Superchain Spotlight episode 3. We are so excited to have you participate and join us in this very fun adventure. So we'll see you next week. Thanks, everyone.
thanks. Bye.